Thank you. We want to call the second meeting of the Budget Review Subcommittee on General Government, Finance, Personnel, and Public Retirement to order. Please remember to silence your cell phones. Members, please make sure your microphone is on when making comments and asking questions. Jennifer, please call the roll.
Senator Mills, Senator Thomas, Representative Brown, Representative Dossett, Representative Gentry, Representative Imes, Representative Johnson.
Here.
Representative Palumbo, Representative Raymond, Representative Tate, Senator Mays Bledsoe, Senator McDaniel, Representative Bowling, Representative Bray, Representative Hale,
Here.
Representative Petrie, Representative Bratcher,
Here.
Representative Bridges, Representative Fleming,
Present.
Representative Freeland,
Here.
and Senator Nemes presiding.
Present. We'll wait on the approval of the minutes till we have a quorum. So will the Department of Libraries please come forward?
Good morning.
Good morning. If you introduce yourselves.
Yes. My name is Denise Lyons. I'm the commissioner for the Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives. And with me is Beth Milburn, Deputy Commissioner, and Jessica Williamson, General Counsel for the Education and Labor Cabinet.
Go ahead.
I will be providing information today on the following topics: a brief overview of local library services, taxing authority for local libraries and the way it differs for Louisville Free and Lexington Public Library. I'll also provide information on the Public Library Facilities Construction Fund and Public Library Reserve Funds. The Kentucky Department for Libraries and Archives is an agency within the Education and Labor Cabinet. Our Library Development Branch provides a variety of services and resources for public libraries, including training and professional development, administrative guidance, technology, and grants assistance. Public libraries are doing amazing things in their communities beyond lending books. There are 120 libraries who are now responding to community needs in a variety of ways, such as serving as testing centers or loaning hotspots and devices. Many support STEM learning in their maker spaces, while others circulate everything from cake pans to fishing poles in their library of things. Kentucky has the most bookmobiles of any state, and these outreach efforts help to bring resources to those in hard-to-reach places. Libraries also offer a place of lifelong learning, from early childhood programs to new skills training or tutoring programs. Most libraries were established in one of two ways. 106 of 120 public libraries have taxing authority as outlined in one of these two statutes. However, 14 libraries do not have taxing authority, and so their ability to generate revenue may be limited. They seek to enhance their budgets through the writing of grants or charging a fee for services such as printing or room rentals. Additionally, most of public libraries are special purpose government entities as defined in statute. Louisville Free Public Library was established differently and is a department of Louisville Metro government. The library receives its funding from Louisville Metro government, and the library employees are Metro government employees. Lexington Public Library was established as a unit of Lexington Fayette urban local government and receives a set amount of funding from property taxes. There are a few different ways that libraries are able to fund their building or renovation projects. Sometimes they will borrow funds from the Kentucky Association of Counties or by issuing bonds. They may pay down their debt using local funds or through the KDLA construction grant funds. Public library facility construction fund grants are offered when funds are available. The purpose is to assist with new construction, renovation, or expansion projects. KDLA coordinates the construction fund application process and also recently launched a grants management system for easier tracking and reporting. No new funding has been allocated since fiscal year 2021, so there have been no new grants awarded. Here are a couple of examples of construction fund projects. Madison County Public Library in Richmond, Kentucky, and Carter County Public Library in Grayson, Kentucky. Public libraries save up funds for construction projects. You can see that there are projects in each region of the Commonwealth. Historically, the largest use of library reserve funds are for capital projects. And I'm happy to take any questions.
Wow, you must have went over it awful good, or it's too early. Yes, go ahead, Senator Thomas.
Commissioner Lyons?
Yes.
Yeah. I must say that in Fayette County, that newest addition there out in Cardinal Valley is tremendous.
Yeah.
I visit all the libraries in Fayette County on a regular basis, and I'm so proud of the new library that exists there in Fayette County, there on Versailles Road in the Cardinal Valley area.
The Marksbury branch.
Right.
It is lovely and really, really well tuned into the community.
Okay. And I also appreciate the fact that it's new, it's modern, and it serves a diverse constituency, very diverse constituency.
We're very proud of that as well, and the leadership there is excellent. Thank you.
Representative Bratcher.
Fern Creek, where I represent in Louisville, did without a library for quite a while, and now there's movement to get one back there in Fern Creek, and we had an appropriation in the budget of $2 million. But here's what I'm going to say. Something. You tell me if I'm correct. Do you guys have the money? Does the legislature put the money in your pot and then you deal it out with grants? Is that what you guys do?
For the construction fund in particular?
Yes, anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Construction fund, yes. Yes, for construction fund.
Now, so say we didn't have an appropriation with Fern Creek now, would they come to you and could this be a possibility that they would come to you and ask for a grant or something, or is that anything you do with Louisville? Or you do nothing with Louisville?
Yeah.
Louisville currently has 3 open construction grants with us. And if we had had the funds available, we would have opened up another cycle for construction funds.
Okay.
I think you might want to explain the construction funds a little bit better than that, because a lot of them are backing bonds and that. You went over quickly, and I'm sure, unless you understand or been in it like you and I have, that the libraries a lot of times have the money for construction. They need front money or bonding or the backing from the your fund that the legislature backs. So it's kind of confusing. Can you go over that a little bit better?
So the construction fund is used for debt retirement. And so the money that they apply for helps to pay down their construction fund, their construction debt. It's for 20 years, and so it is a set amount for that 20 years.
So the construction fund, as Representative Bratch was thinking of, as they come to you and you loan the money to build the property, is not necessarily what it's doing.
Correct.
Okay.
Sorry.
You talked about testing centers.
Mm-hmm.
What are you testing?
GED. But
Okay.
a lot of the libraries will also do other kinds of proctoring, as asked or requested.
Y'all still do skills training in
Yes.
that. Now, what kind of skills training do you do? Because before it was pretty much just, I hate to say it, some of the outdated software for offices and that.
They will do, most libraries will do most of whatever the soft skills are, but depending on the location, there could be a variety of different offerings. It really is based on what the community needs. So if there is a particular piece of software and a local company might be hiring, the library might be able to offer that as one of its choices for people to take. There's a variety that are offered online, so there's so many different, I guess, databases to choose from or sources to choose from that it really runs the entire, I guess, not just soft skills, but a variety of different kinds of skills.
Now, when I was at the Labor Cabinet, we were working more with the business communities in the ad districts and the tech centers. For instance, in register apprenticeship, which unfortunately we're not doing as much as we did, there was a lot of apprenticeship things that are based, in the classroom and then on the job and that. And we were trying to get the libraries to do a lot of that in the libraries. Have y'all expanded that or been able to do any of that?
We actually just had a meeting about that to revisit the program and see what we can do for specific locations, but also just to kind of reintroduce that idea and see what each of the different locations might be able to offer, whether it's space or someone to oversee the various training and so forth. So we hope to be able to have some more news soon.
Because a lot of the problems with not a lot of them, but there were some problems with the apprenticeship where the businesses couldn't do the classroom things.
Yeah.
They can, of course, bring them in and get them to work. So I'd like for you to get back to me on that. And you said you do some tutoring.
Yes.
What kind of tutoring?
It depends on what is asked. So a lot of times it is one-on-one, where a tutor might meet a student and help them with their reading skills. It could be to help prepare them to be able to take a test. A lot of those test preparation, the test preparation is online, but someone might need some assistance to be able to navigate that or to be able to take a test better. So they might meet at the library to be able to do that. Sometimes it's more like language learning. It could be conversation classes, but it could also be English language classes.
And how do they need, you all advertised, how do they know that you can service that need?
The libraries do a lot of different marketing and promotion through social media. They talk to their patrons when they come in. They have digital signage. Sometimes they have billboards on the highways. You can see, like when they're doing summer reading, might be a big billboard. We will also help them to connect to different groups through our listservs. There's just a wide variety of ways that they'll connect.
Have y'all connected with many of the schools, especially Jefferson County, where they have a lot of immigrants or second language learners, that you could help them with
Yes.
translation and doing the tests that they need to do? With not being familiar with English, and that is very tough.
Yeah, I sat on a presentation panel during the Digital Equity Summit with someone who represented one of the communities, and we talked about how the library is one of the places that people will go because they feel it's a very neutral area, it's a safe place, and he was hoping to be able to connect more with his local branch in Louisville.
Representative Hale?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you all for being here this morning. I appreciate your presentation. I look at the members sitting here today, and I see 4 from Jefferson County, and I think 1 from Fayette. But I'm from a very small rural part of Kentucky that has small population in our counties. And our libraries are really, and I can't speak to them, to actually the ones in the more urban areas, but our libraries are very much utilized. I mean, they are, they get a lot of people coming there. And I just want to say thank you all for that. I know libraries, sometimes there's been people that have made comments about, libraries are not that needed, but in the rural, I'm speaking from rural Kentucky, they're very much needed. Two of the counties I represent, they a lot of people come there because they don't have internet service.
Yes.
I mean, there's a tremendous amount of people I know, and I even stop by them sometimes, and we have. Could you go back to the last slide you showed, the very last? I think it was the last one. Yeah, right there, talking about the renovations, expansions. One of those is a county I represent there, Bath County.
Oh, yeah.
And they are in a process right now of construction. Going to be a beautiful facility that they're going to construct there. But I didn't really have a question. I just wanted to thank you for what you do and for what we have in our libraries in my area. And they are used a lot. They are used a considerable amount by people out in the rural areas. Again, a lot of them don't have good broadband internet service at their homes up in some of those hills and hollers.
Right.
But they come to those, and I appreciate them being there. I got 3 counties and two beautiful libraries, and it's getting ready to be a third one.
Well, that was the first library I actually went to. I've only been here just over a year, and they did the groundbreaking for their new facility. And the director told me they were one of the most successful in terms of numbers for GED testing, as well as they have more of their staff that have a master's in library science than any other library their size. So they're doing tremendous things out there, and we appreciate how the libraries, particularly in the rural communities, are really connecting out to those. If they can't come to the library, they really do seek out ways to try to connect with them in all the different regions of their counties.
I was at that groundbreaking. I'm sorry, I don't remember you being there. So
I got
I
lost, which
apologize.
is not. Unfortunately, I have a little bit of direction impairment, but I did get there, and I talked with the director. He was kind enough to spend most of the afternoon giving me a tour and talking about their services.
Thank you for coming. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Hill. Well, I think the libraries probably have a tutor to show you how to use GPS.
Yeah, that I have somebody who talks to me. It just,
But Representative Hill brings up a matter on rural funding, the disparities. I'm from a rich county, Bullitt County, and we have more money than we need for libraries. We have Taj Mahals, and a lot of times our A&R chair looks at these and says, why do they need this? Why are the property tax so high in this? So how are we, or can we, divert some money to the poorer counties in that, the ones that you need bookmobiles and don't have libraries? And I have a couple other things, so I'm going to have a lot for you to answer. Your bookmobiles, when they come there, can they use the internet while they're at the bookmobile, or you set up a satellite?
no, they can use a hotspot, so they should
Good.
be all wired. Yeah.
Okay. And can you go into the tax thing on the...
I think the discussion was kind of centered around how the taxing authority is set up, and so those individual areas have that taxing authority. I think discussion of how that might change would be, a discussion of how that authority is laid out. Those statutes lay out that authority, and the libraries make a choice to be formed under those statutes, and so they follow that. I think any discussion of how that might change would be beyond KDLA.
Okay, you answered my next question. You didn't answer my previous question. So I won't ask the next question, but the previous question I'll repeat is there a way that the libraries or legislation or something can help money for Representative Hill's area from my district? I mean, I know this is going to be reported. I'm sending money from my district somewhere else, but we want the libraries and the schools to be equal. So besides bookmobiles going there and some of the construction money, do you have any ideas how that can be accomplished?
I don't, but we're open to discussing that further with you. What I can speak on is what I just did is what the structure is now, because that's, KDLA follows that authority. And so if that were to change, but we can certainly discuss that with you further.
Well, I only have one more question, and I don't see any other ones. Is your archives in that, do you all still store so much? Are you still doing a lot of that, or is COT taking a lot of that on?
No, we are storing an incredible amount. In fact, our facility is at 87% capacity right now. That's the off-site facility. Our upstairs is also at capacity.
All right. Well, thank you. If there's no other questions, and we sure appreciate y'all coming.
Thank you.
And now we have Department of Workforce Development. Would you like to introduce yourself?
It's on. Okay. Good morning. Anthony Hudgens. I'm the Deputy Executive Director of Unemployment Insurance.
Good morning, Chairman, members. Jessica Williamson. I'm the General Counsel for the Education and Labor Cabinet.
Proceed.
Thank you for inviting us here today to talk about the new unemployment insurance solution. As most everyone is aware, we began this process in late 2020, reviewing different replacement system proposals. And it took 3 different RFPs over the course of several years before we were able to end up with the current solution.
Can you move the microphone a little closer and
Sure.
make sure the green light's on?
In many ways, this long process paid off as we saw new technologies and improvements emerge. And I can say from reviewing different replacement systems over the years, we've chosen the best solution for the Commonwealth. This solution was not the most expensive, nor was it the cheapest, but it was in line with the majority of proposals we reviewed. I'm very excited for our claimants, our employers, and our staff as we work over the course of the next few years to implement this new unemployment insurance system. Today, we will address the 3 topics the committee asked us to discuss, which are the new unemployment insurance system, the timeline for the implementation of the system, and the components of the new unemployment insurance system. And I'll turn it over to my colleague, Ken, to begin our presentation.
Good morning. The current contract was awarded to Deloitte after an in-depth review of the. Is my light on? No, I guess it's not. It's just a green. My apologies. The contract was awarded to Deloitte after going through the RFP process. Deloitte's unemployment framework and automated claim tax service, the system they call UFAX, is currently in use in Colorado, New Mexico, and Minnesota. The newest version is redesigned utilizing some new technologies, cloud-based technologies, and is currently being implemented in Michigan, and Kentucky will be the second state to be able to implement that version. The project is going to be done in 6 phases. Right now, we are in the beginning planning and setup phase. We are onboarding the Deloitte team, acquiring the software and project management tools. There will be the next phase is requirements and management of requirements. So they will gather and do a gap analysis of all of the requirements that were in the proposal and map those against the current capabilities of their product. Phase 3, they will begin to build out the infrastructure for the development environment, the testing environment, and then a production environment. The first phase of the working product will be the employer's contribution phase. which is what we typically call taxes. They will build that piece out. It will roll in as an incremental delivery, so when it delivers, it will still continue to work with the existing benefits system. Phase 2 is the second delivery, or phase 5 is benefits and appeals, and then there is a an O&M support period that they will follow on afterwards. Timeline for the employer contribution phase, that's the first release of 2. That is a 71-week build and gap analysis. We see that we identified with the proposal 1,265 requirements. They will do the gap analysis and assess those with their current system, and that planned release is winter of 2025. Product release 2 is the benefits and appeals. That's a 97-week estimated build. There are a little over almost 2,200 requirements identified there that they will then do the analysis of and build with our team. And full implementation is expected by 2028.
Okay. A few things that were important to us to have in the new system and will be very noticeable in the new Deloitte UFAC solution are easy navigation for all stakeholders, a user-friendly experience that is also mobile device compatible, improved communications. Claimants and employers can opt in to receive text messages or email messages, or both, about the current claim status or important notices to review, or responding to calls of actions that we put out to both parties. Also, we will have built-in fraud measures. During the pandemic, we saw lots of identity theft with false claims filed and phony business accounts being filed in order to submit made-up payrolls in order for fraudsters to receive benefits. In the spring of 2021, we partnered with ID.me to verify claimant identities in the filing process. Later that year, we moved ID.me to the front door of our application, where it remains today, and it will continue to be the front door of our application in our new system. Also, we wanted automated workflows. The system can assign claim tasks to all our UI staff on a daily basis and help with project management and caseloads on a first-in, first-out basis. Stakeholders can receive notices when processes are done or action needs to be taken. Also, with automated workflow, the system can help speed up the determination process, maybe when controversy exists, such as when a claimant files as laid off and the employer sends back a notice saying, well, this person was actually discharged. The system can actually recognize that controversy and go ahead and send out the fact-finding forms to both parties. That way, when the adjudicator reviews the case, that information was already there for them to review and kind of speed up the process. Also, we wanted a system that is modular and scalable. Modularity allows for components of the system to be updated or replaced when necessary without affecting other parts of the system or having to take the entire system down just for a simple update. Scalability will allow us to maintain the performance of the system during high periods of traffic, such as what we saw during the pandemic, and the system should be able to manage those heavy loads and traffic at all times. One of the great features of this new system, we will have a claimant portal where users can log in and take a variety of different actions. I would say the majority of calls we receive today, and probably the majority of calls you receive from your constituents, are claimants who just want to know where they're at in the process. And this claimant portal will help them identify where they're at in the process. Claimants can log into the portal and see the most up-to-date status of their claim and where they're at in the approval process. Also, claimants can log in and view the balance of their benefits remaining. I spoke on the improved communications. A lot of times people will forget that they need to, after filing, to order or request their payment. This system will allow them to receive reminders when it's time for them to request their biweekly payment, or when it's time to report the required work search activities. And also the system will provide lots of self-service functionality. Claimants can go in and update their address, bank account information, view historical records, or appeal determinations if they wish to do so. In addition, employers will also have an employer portal similar to what the claimants have. They can log in and take a variety of different actions. They can review their contribution rate and how that was determined. They can review benefit charges of claims that former employees have filed against their company. Again, improved communications. They'll have notifications when we put out calls to action, or they can log in and, as they do today, report and file and pay to their quarterly reports. And also they can appeal determinations, protest claims, and respond to our fact finding. Next slide. Lastly, there will be a staff portal, which serves the different functional areas of unemployment insurance. Staff can view their case assignments and responsibilities for the day, the week, etc. And the one thing I really like about the staff portal is the staff are viewing the same screens that the employer or the claimant are viewing. A lot of times we're on the phone communicating with the parties, and it's kind of a guessing game where they're at in the process. And with the same screens that we have for both parties, it'll make that communication much smoother, and we can provide more assistance, better assistance. Next slide. Another great feature, we will have a reports dashboard portal where we can easily access on-demand reports, create ad hoc reports, and drill down into the statistics to see the source data. A lot of times I like to do that. What makes up this statistic, and you can go back and see all the individual data that make up that statistic, and verify that the information is accurate too. This is a very exciting time for all of us in unemployment insurance, and we'll work hard over the course of the next several years to ensure we have a state-of-the-art system for the Commonwealth, and will serve all our stakeholders. Thank you.
Representative Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the presentation. And we're excited about this as well. If we think about constituent calls, probably a large percentage of them have to do with your area. So I appreciate what we're doing here. My question is, and I guess I'll preface it by saying that often when you have a system that's being rolled out over a period of years, and this is a 4-year timeline, right? We're looking at 2028 for final implementation.
Yeah, thereabouts.
By the time it rolls out, it's obsolete. Is there anything in the contract that you have with the contractors or anything in the budget that will allow for the probably almost for sure need to update almost as soon as you put it online? Is there any thought process to that?
So it's being designed with modern cloud technologies and in a modular fashion, which allows us to take advantage of technology changes as they happen in the cloud. A lot of those that we see today as your phone patches and those kind of things, some of those kind of patches will happen natively because of where it resides. The modular aspect allows us, it's no longer a large monolithic application. They're individual modules, so as a technology changes or a need changes, a piece of it could be pulled out and replaced, even possibly with a competitor's product sometimes, to change the system without changing the entire system.
I think monolithic was the key word there to avoid that.
Yes.
And I'm excited to hear that, because that you know better than I do when you've got to take an entire system down for one little glitch or one little update. It's not good. So I guess my bottom line question is, last one, Mr. Chairman, is are you going to be coming back asking for additional funding for upgrades?
Every project requires normal maintenance. So our hope is with normal maintenance and the passage of time that the system can stay as current as it can.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Representative Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've got a couple of questions. We've had a lot of difficulty with UI claims and calls from constituents. My first question is, can or how can we address the issues of concern now?
The biggest obstacle that we are facing is the number of claims that need adjudication. And in order to adjudicate those claims, we need some more adjudicators in those areas to do that. I think immediately that wouldn't be an immediate fix, because adjudicators, you have to acquire some of that experience to build up to be able to do that work. But that's where our hiccups are right now, is getting those claims adjudicated.
Okay, so we're going to be flying by the seat of our pants for the next 4 years. We could have the same kind of chaos in the UI system that we've had.
Yeah, the biggest obstacle we had was, we received all the funding from the pandemic funding from the federal government, and all that has gone away now. So we had a staff reduction back in November in order to meet our budget. I think at the time we probably had like a $50 million budget, and DOL funds us $30 million. So that extra $20 million of pandemic funds has gone away. So in order to help get the claims processed, it's going to take more individuals to work those claims.
And our goal is to help the constituents as fast as we can. So along the way, this product will be delivered incrementally. So the first product is the employer portal portion, but part of adjudication is a communication piece there. So those automation steps of the new piece rolling out first will speed some of that. It's not the perfect solution for the claimant, but we're trying to do everything we can to add as many efficiencies and automations to take out any of the choke points or the lag. Anytime there's something not being worked, we're trying to build systems that identify those points. So something is always sending a notice or a prompt to individuals to be able to take action, so things don't sit in a mailbox sort of thing as we did in this old sort of days.
Okay, well, we're a ways away. We've got a long way to go before we get there. It appears we've got some years to go. So we need to buckle up, I guess, is what you're saying, for the next 4 years.
Yes, I will say, in September and October, we were current on our claims. We were waiting on, the employer response to come back to us. We were all caught up. We had the staff reduction in November, and we saw the number of claims start stacking up again.
Senator Thomas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And my question is for Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jones, this interim, I sit on the AI task force, the Artificial Intelligence Task Force. We had our very first meeting last week, and of course, one of the things we're going to examine is the use of AI in state government. Since you're rolling out a new technology program, one in the area of the claimant portal, one in the area of adjudications, my question to you is this. Are you using artificial intelligence in the implementation of this new technology program? And if that answer is in the affirmative, in what manner are you doing so? If that answer is in the negative, then why not?
So we get the systems that vendors bring us, and there has been a lot of good ideas and things I've seen in the industry that are coming. So building in the cloud environment and the type of technology we're using, as those things come to fruition, there will be opportunities to engage them and use them. Currently, our call center uses a little bit of AI in managing the sentiment and doing translation services of or the dictation, basically, of the call so it can be reviewed. So that's the one place that we're using some AI now. As it becomes available, the system has the capability to implement the things that will then follow whatever the state's current policy is. Right now, we're still working on what COTs and what the state's policy will be on the use of AI.
Mr. Hudgens, you have anything to add to that?
No, I think Ken touched on it. AI is kind of new in unemployment. With our modular system, we should be able to, as AI comes out in the unemployment insurance space in the future, we should be able to plug in to our new system and add some of that with the appropriate guidance from COT and USDOL on the allowable technologies there.
Y'all talked about the updates in there. Do we own the code, or do we have to have the contractor Deloitte come in and do the upgrades or changes?
They have given us a perpetual license to the code. We don't necessarily per se own the code, but we can continue to modify it and do what we choose to going forward. They have given us license to be able to do that, but we don't own it in a sense that we could then resell it or commercialize it to anyone else. But we have the ability to use it in any way we see going forward in perpetuity.
Do you have to go to them and pay them to do that? Or,
No, sir.
So my definition of that is then you own the code.
Yes.
You can't resell it or anything. But,
Correct.
Okay, so you and COT can change what you need to.
That's correct.
And then if you need help from Deloitte or the cloud, you can request that.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Also, we are working with some of the other states and with Deloitte to form a coalition or a working group of the states that use it. And in these new modular fashions, if somebody else develops a piece or makes changes that are beneficial, other states could then share it because we're on the same code base of Deloitte. So as those group of states make changes, we would be able to share.
Well, that's great. I think Secretary Link had something to do with that, because one of the first things Secretary Ramsey did with the workers' claims was they were having trouble implementing the new system, and we made sure we had the code so that we didn't have to continue hiring them back at an ungodly amount of money. So another thing is, do y'all have enough federal approved employees? And first explain this, because I don't think many people understand what that is in unemployment.
Unemployment insurance is 100% federally funded. Our latest budget is about $30 million a year, and that gives us the ability to operate and hire or maintain 185 individuals. That funding is tied to workload, the number of claims that we receive each year, the number of employers we service, and as claims go down, your funding goes down. And I know a lot of you all watch the congressional committee hearings. There's discussions now of an 8 to 10% budget reduction for all federal agencies. So that would affect us going forward.
Have y'all, I know when we were having trouble, we got authority from the feds to use outside sources, but then the outside sources didn't do anything but the preliminary, hello, how you doing? Okay, we got your name down.
Yeah.
Which now your new technology is going to do that with your computer system. Have you distinguished and been able to take employees, what we were trying to advise you all to do is set employees in the labor cabinet that can be helpful without touching what the feds won't allow them to do. For instance, we suggest that the LRC help you out, and you turned us down because they can't do what federal employees do. But there was other things that could be done. Have you distinguished so if you run into trouble that you know what they can do and how they can help?
Yes, well, we've prepared through the pandemic. We've cross-trained where we can cross-train in the cabinet. A lot of times we have to abide by the USDOL rules where you have to be a merit-trained UI staff person in order to make these determinations on eligibility. It's kind of like a judge, if you will. You have to go through that training. So we have identified folks in UI and different branches of UI and within our cabinet who can kind of help assist in those processes. But ultimately, the decision has to be made by a trained merit UI staff person.
And you and I know, but can you explain the difference between adjudicators and the appeals board? And I think the last time we added to the appeals board, but not quick enough, because was a bog in the, we couldn't get that done.
Right. So typically, an unemployment claim, if you're just laid off and the employer returns a notice indicating you're laid off, you're good to go. But if, there's a discharge of employment or you quit, then those claims have to go to an adjudicator, and that's the first line of determination of eligibility in unemployment insurance. Those adjudicators have to gather facts from both parties. If it's a discharge, it's up to the employer to show that they had good cause to discharge the claimant. If an individual quits, then it's up to them to prove they had good cause to quit the job, and the adjudicator has to determine that. Then they issue out a formal decision, which is appealable by either the claimant or the employer, and they're appealing to the unemployment insurance appeals branch. At that level, they meet with an unemployment insurance referee who conducts like a verbal fact-finding interview with both parties, and another decision is made based on that. Then there is another option where the claimant or the employer can appeal to the Unemployment Insurance Commission. And usually the commission just reviews what was done at the adjudication level, what was done at the appeals level, and comes up with a group decision based on that.
Now, the appeals board is set up by the secretary and there's usually like 3 people on it.
Yeah, the commission.
The commission, yes, that has final say if it goes all the way to that level. Now, the Department of Labor has nothing to do, or what do they have to do with that?
Well, I know some states have what we call a higher authority commission, and some states don't. I know the Department of Labor requires at least a lower authority appeal level, but in Kentucky we also offer that commission higher level authority.
All right, are there any other questions? Well, thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
That's it, right? We don't have a quorum. Since we don't have a quorum, the approval of minutes will be at the next meeting. And the next meeting is Wednesday, August 21st. Hope to see you all there. We're adjourned.